Hey you all, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Takia. I want to hop right into this video because it is so juicy, so good. I've been thinking a lot about what my life will look like and what it can look like in 10, 20, 30 years. I love this idea of how can I show up for my future self now? And for us, for women, this has a lot to do with how we feel and our hormones. I'm really excited about this new series on my channel. This video is 10 things that you can do in your 20s and 30s for longevity and for hormone health. Hormones are literally the foundation for women. This is exactly how we can hack our system, biohacking if you want to call it, and live the best, longest, healthiest, vibrant life that we can. I hope you're ready to take notes because I have been doing my research and also living this experience. So I have a lot to share. These tips will work for anyone, but I really want to focus on prevention. These are things that you can start to implement now that are going to change your life almost instantly. And that's what it's about. It's about feeling good. This is legacy. This is legacy. So number 10, endocrine disruptors. And these are specific chemical compounds that wreak havoc on your hormonal system, which is your endocrine system. Your hormones trigger essential functions in the body, like your reproduction, metabolism. I've made a really easy sheet. It's linked in the description box so that you can see what endocrine disruptors are. I'll touch on a few. There are endocrine disruptors in pesticides, beauty products, in the fabrics that we wear. I have an all cotton dress on, so cotton and linens and some of these natural plant fibers vibrate on a frequency that does not disrupt the endocrine system. Stay away from particular, really it's plastics. Polyesters, they're just plastic, and the plastics are so harmful. So the BPAs and the phthalates, parabens that are in our beauty products, these are things that you really want to stay away from as much as you can. So reading your labels and just being very conscious about what you're consuming, not just what you're eating, but everything. This is your largest organ. You do have to consider what you're putting on your body, and that includes the fabric, it includes the beauty products, the skincare, the perfumes. Those synthetic perfumes have so many endocrine disruptors, you all. You can opt in for a natural oil fragrance, which I love oil fragrances, that's my favorite, and I use Kumba Made. For endocrine disruptors, you can reduce your exposure by using glass, copper, steel, cookware that is non-stick. Read the ingredients on your beauty products and look for things like parabens and some of the other chemicals that I've listed. When you're thinking about foods and the pesticides, look into the Dirty Dozen, and as best as you can, eat local, eat organic, go to a farmer's market, and really create a relationship with the people who are taking care of your food, because the energy is going into the food as well. So that's extremely important. Also, you can find endocrine disruptors in your receipts that you get when you purchase at a store. I have also created a video specifically breaking down the different hormones that we are high in or low in, and the different fluctuations in our cycle seasons, that's what I call them, in my last video. So look in the description box and go on my channel for the videos. Let's make sure that what we're giving to our body is actually fuel. So extremely hot. I'm in Thailand, if you guys did not know. I am sweating already, which is good. Number 9 is your environment, and I've broken this down into 2 parts. So your internal environment and your external environment. Now, your environment is going to influence your self-perception, your identity, the way that you speak to yourself, and how you feel about yourself. And feelings, that's how we move in this world as women for the most part. So in your internal world, your self-talk and the things that you say to yourself. For example, if you always have a very difficult, painful, long extended period, and you just dread that time of the month, or you find yourself saying, "Oh, I just wish I didn't have a period," or you rely on things like birth control that are going to make sure you don't have a period, this is your internal environment. This is the world that you have created, and your subconscious mind is going to make sure that you experience more of that. So the more you dread something, the more you dread something. But the more you feel happiness and joy, the more you're going to look for experiences that create that feeling. This is a tricky one too, because this even plays into how you speak about yourself and to yourself. So say you're in a conversation with a friend, you made a mistake and jokingly you say, "Oh, I'm so stupid." That is your subconscious mind reacting to your true feelings about yourself. And these things we have to get in check. And the thing about your internal environment is it changes the way you see the world. I always say you kind of get to see the world through a biased lens based on the experiences that you've had, the relationships, the opportunities or lack thereof. You now see the world through that lens. It is not clean and it is not pure. It is very murky. When you work on your internal world, you start to see life for what it truly is. So your external environment could be relationships that you have in your life, where you physically live and physically sleep. Although you cannot always change your external, you can always change your internal. And I have to emphasize that. It is almost amazing when I think about it, how much you can influence your external world, the way other people treat you, the people that stay and leave from your life, and opportunities based on your internal world. Your external also has to do with the different toxins and the pollutants that you are exposed to. This could be air pollution, this could be light pollution, whether you're in a city or in nature. You all know I moved to Jamaica in 2020 and completely immersed myself in rural countryside Jamaican life, bathing in the river and eating from the land and farming and getting into my herbal business and working with nature's medicine. That really allowed me to heal on a different dimension, a completely different level, not making excuses for your suffering. And that plays into your internal work. If you want things to change, you cannot make excuses anymore for it. Even if they're true, even if the excuses are valid and true, don't make them anymore, because you limit yourself and you change the amount of autonomy that you have in your life. Another thing you can do is reprogram your subconscious mind. Being aware of it, first of all. I did this through meditation, through breath work, through yoga, getting into my body. So I encourage you to do some research on ways that you can reprogram your subconscious mind. If you guys would like for me to make a video on things that I've done, then leave it in the comments, like this video, subscribe, and share this as well. Next is healing the hurt, the anger, the shame, and the guilt and the fear that you have accumulated throughout your life. This is your internal environment. These knee-jerk reactions, they're reactions to external triggers that we experience in life. This is the juicy work. This is the pivotal work that you can do so that you are not controlled anymore by what anyone says, any pandemic, any fear mongering. You have the control. You know that you can choose to move into a state of hypervigilance, or your nervous system is regulated enough to act when it needs to act. There is so much being shown to you. What I really want to say is close your eyes. Like, keep your heart open and close your eyes. This is not about being ignorant to what's going on in the world or being desensitized. This is about getting more sensitive to what truly matters and getting in tune. And that is going to influence the people you love and the people around you and make real changes in the world, right? Now I'm gonna run through the rest of these. So you can audit your relationships, and then you can also do things like move. This is at the bottom of the list because it may not be practical for everyone, but this is what I did. So number 8 on the things that are beneficial to do for your hormone balance and regulation is movement and physical fitness. This can look like so many different things. Don't get afraid. Don't click off the video. This is not about being a gym rat. This is about moving the energy in your body. I did some research and I found some interesting studies, and I'll share one with you. So there's a very simple one that shows that women who did 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 5 times a week for 16 weeks decrease their estrogen levels by 19%. Estrogen dominance especially plays a huge role in growing fibroids, keeping fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, ovarian cysts that I've healed from, breast cancer, and these polyps and different womb growths. That is huge, you guys. That is huge. Have you ever worked out so hard? Let me know if you have this experience. But have you ever worked out so hard that you missed a period or your period was delayed? That goes to show you just how much your physical fitness affects your hormones. The reason that happens is because high intensity workouts, especially if they are out of the blue, and the intensity specifically of it can affect the balance of your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries. And these three work together to make sure that you ovulate. Now, I love yoga. I've practiced yoga for over 6 years now, and it really helped with my internal environment, getting down deep into these emotions and these energies that I had not dealt with in childhood, in relationships as well. And it really helped me to unlodge and unlock some of these emotions and energy in my body. There was a study done on yoga and hormones, and it was over a short period of time, which shows just how effective movement, dance, stretching, and opening up and expressing these emotions and just getting them out of the body can be. The study showed that women who practiced 40 minutes a day, 5 times a week, had a reduction in cortisol, which is the stress hormone, by 58%. 40 minutes, 5 days a week over a 3-month period. So not that long, 90 days, that's nothing. 58% reduction in cortisol. And when we're talking about your internal and your external environment, stress plays a huge role, and we'll get into that later on the list. And you can do restorative yoga. Don't think of yoga as a sport. Their yoga is very much so about toning the body and getting the body to look away. My yoga and what I love and what has helped me heal is the internal, toning the internal body and working on the emotions and your auric field and your energy to shift the way that you show up in the world. And that yoga study also showed that PMS symptoms and irregular periods were reduced significantly. I have also personally experienced this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have. So movement is going to help with bone density. High impact training helps with, your stress levels, digestion, unlodging the waste and the toxins from your colon. Major key. It also is going to help with your heart rate, so getting into cardio. I love dancing, I love sweating, and I also have been getting into the gym lately. I don't know who I am. I even snuck into the gym 2 nights ago. It closed at 8 p.m. at my hotel that I'm in, and I snuck into the gym at like 8:40 and got in my reps. When I tell you my body is just calling for it. I grew up playing sports. I grew up an athlete. I have muscle memory. I had a friend from Italy train me at the gym, and I realized how weak some of my muscles are and just how much, I wasn't using certain muscle groups just by doing yoga and Pilates. Getting into the gym, doing resistance training, getting in there is going to help with bone density. This is what is going to make it so that you are falling more later in life, breaking a hip, fracturing this. A lot of those injuries end up being fatal. Now, this is not to scare you, but we're talking about prevention. I am prioritizing resistance training. I still do my yoga. I just did a yin yoga flow last night before bed, and it knocked me out. But knowing when you're in a specific season and what you need to change is key for us as women. We're cyclical and we move in seasons. So strong bones and strong muscles also reduce stress and PCOS, and it also changes the way that your body reacts to sugar. If you didn't know, women who are dealing with PCOS typically have insulin resistance, and that changes how your body deals with food, digests it, metabolizes it, and uses it. I took a little break because it was getting cloudy and I needed to eat breakfast, which I also want to talk about because that's new for me. So I'll get into it when it is time. So number 7 is liver health. This is essential when it comes to keeping your hormones balanced. So there are several organs that are essential when it comes to detoxing the body. The liver is one of them, but it also processes excess hormones. So excess estrogen, which we know leads to the fibroids, PCOS, cysts, emotional stability, fatigue. Then it also helps with testosterone, thyroid hormones, and cortisol. There are so many things that keep us dysregulated or can have the potential to keep us dysregulated. Now imagine every time you're dysregulated and your hormones shoot up, you're not able to eliminate those hormones. Imagine that. What will happen? They will recirculate into the body. That's why a lot of the times we're seeing the estrogen dominance and testosterone, which will lead to like the teeth and the excess hair on the chin, but the teeth and the hair inside of the cysts, and also feeling more masculine and in your masculine state because there's not that balance because of the things that we eat, the fried foods, the antibiotics, birth control, unfortunately, wreak havoc for years. If your liver is fighting for its life and dysregulated and under functioning for years, we have to give it some love. So let me share my liver love tips. So castor oil packs. You choose if it's Jamaican black castor oil or the regular castor oil, just make sure that it's hexane free. You put it on a cloth, a natural cloth, you put it over your liver, or you can even put it over your womb space for cramping. And the thing about castor oil is it's able to penetrate the dermis and the epidermis. It can go deep down into the skin layers. One of the things it's best at is removing inflammation. I personally love sweating because the liver and the lymphatic system in the blood, they all work together in removing the toxins from the body. Sweating is one way that we can purge waste from the body. So getting into the sauna is a really easy way to induce sweat. You can also do high activity workouts. You can be in tropical climates. Also, you all know I'm a medicine woman. That is what I have sworn by for years. It is not alternative medicine. It is the original medicine. I love using herbs. In fact, I finished a bitter herb detox about 3 days ago. I used herbs like rice bitters, sursi, bitterwood or quassia. And you can find these herbs yourself and do the mix. I personally am sold out of my bitter herb blend. I am never not amazed at the miracles of plant medicine. So when I was doing my bitter herbs detox, it was important for me to sweat and to really get the waste out so it doesn't recirculate in the lymphatic system. So I went to the sauna. Here's some video and footage of me being there. I hydrated, I had coconut water, but I absolutely needed that. After 6 months in India, I absolutely needed to just sweat. And I'm going to make this a weekly thing. If not 2 times a week, it's gonna be weekly. Next, I have eliminating and reducing fast, processed, oily, fried foods. Because of how much burden they put on the liver. The liver is trying to process this waste and these toxins. A lot of people are getting fatty liver disease, and you really want to make sure that you're not hitting your liver from all angles, like the birth control and the antibiotics if you are suffering from recurring yeast infections or bacteria vaginosis. These things are not only wreaking havoc on the liver, but they're also preventing the gut from thriving. If you're interested in figuring out what foods are supportive for your liver and for your reproductive system and your whole body in general as a woman, then you can check out my womb food healing guide. And I also have offered the plant-based food guides that are in the womb food guide separately. So you can check those out. I'll link them below. Number 6 is my favorite thing to talk about: nutrition, but balanced nutrition. Such an amazing thing to talk about because it is in our control. There are a lot of things that don't feel like they're in our control, but what you consume, what you decide to put into your mouth is absolutely in your control. Absolutely. So the foods that we're eating are supporting our vitality and youth and immunity and reproductive function, or it is feeding womb growths and emotional instability and insecurity and disease and bacteria and yeast and all of these overgrowths in the body. So many of the issues that we experience, especially as women, is directly related to the deficiencies that are present in the diet and what we're eating. Really, you want to make sure you are absorbing the minerals, the vitamins that are necessary in order for your organs to function. There are certain minerals that are essential, meaning the body doesn't make them. We need a specific amount daily. Do your own research and figure out what minerals you need to be getting daily as a woman. Like I mentioned in the liver tip, I have my womb food healing guide. It breaks down what minerals, what vitamins, the nutrients that we need to thrive as women and to heal these womb disease and just stay balanced when it comes to our hormones. You want to make sure you are getting enough minerals. Food, yes, but enough minerals. I personally love to get my minerals, my supplements from whole foods. I have a variety of foods listed in my food lists and ones that you can substitute in for the food you already love. Say you love ice cream. I was addicted to ice cream, but say you love it and it's just difficult for you to let it go. You don't have to let it go, you just find an alternative. So I call them substitutions, and I have included an entire list of substitutions, additions, and subtractions in the Womb Food Healing Guide. The thing about highly inflammatory foods, not only are they difficult for the liver and the colon to process, they rob the body of minerals and making it more difficult for you to actually absorb iron or zinc or magnesium, calcium, and these minerals that are absolutely essential for us to thrive as women, especially later on down the line. So we're not having the issue of difficult menopause symptoms. Along with the estrogen disruptors that I have listed in the description box, you can also find a list of estrogen aromatase based foods. There are foods that are estrogen based, so they are going to switch on certain receptors in the body and allow more estrogen to get into the cells. So you can check out that list down below. I've included all of them together. It's very interesting to see some of the foods that I have already personally, just by experience, seen how they change my face, how much inflammation and swelling I will get. I even probably have a little now, or how they will give me brain fog, moments when I should have energy and I'm just totally like gray. There are these foods, potatoes, white potatoes is one of them, the wheat, the starch, a lot of the things that contribute to the womb disease and grow these fibroids and these tumors are also estrogen dominant aromatase based foods. If you have never heard of this, then I am so happy to be the first one to talk to you about it. Check the list below. You don't have to eliminate everything at once and feel overwhelmed, which is going to make sure that this is not sustainable. You just take your time. It is okay. Do one thing at a time and see how the things make you feel. Everyone is different, so certain foods might affect you differently. Along with the estrogen and aromatase based foods, there are also plant foods that are high in oxalates. Now, what oxalates do, they're also very tricky. They rob the body of minerals, which we touched on. Not only do they do that, but they build up these sharp structures on the calcium that's in the body. That affects your kidney, and a lot of people who have kidney stones, it's like somewhere crazy, like 70% comes from some of these plant materials, like the kales, like the spinach, especially when they're raw. This was a little bit frightening to learn about, just because we feel that we're doing so good for ourselves when we're having these green juices and some of these vegetables. Figure out how you can reduce the exposure. One way to do that is by soaking your nuts, soaking your grains, cooking some of the greens, and not having all of them raw. Girl, everything's gonna kill me. Like, it's just can be overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be that way. Hopefully my tips were helpful. This is what you can do for nutrition and minerals. I love to advise my coaching clients, my guidance clients, that they should get their blood work done and get some kind of a test to see what deficiencies that they may have. There is a test called an HTMA test, where you can get your hair tested to see what heavy metals are present in the body, what you may be deficient in, just so you know where your ground zero is, and then move from there. Next tip is something that might be controversial on my channel, because I have always really advocated for intermittent fasting, and it's just my personal practice. I am now realizing that I have not been eating enough. I have been under feeding and nourishing myself, and it has shown visibly in my physical appearance. And especially when you are on a spiritual journey, which we all are, but when you're presently actively moving through certain energies in your life and you do not have the nourishment you need. My motto used to be, whenever something was going wrong in my life, I fast. And I still use fasting to move through and work through certain energies, but I also know that I was malnourished in a lot of moments in my life. It's a balance. There are moments when you should be detoxing, cleansing, healing, and then there are moments when you should rebuild. For instance, if you are iron deficient anemic, you want to cleanse your blood to remove the pathogens and things that make it very difficult for the iron to actually absorb the digestive system as well. And then you want to build the blood. There are different herbs and plant medicines and foods that will do either of the two. I realized now that I need to eat more. And it's not just calories, just eating. It's being very intentional about what I'm consuming and eating more. Now I'm eating breakfast. And it's so wild to me, the differences that I'm feeling and noticing in my energy levels and my productivity. I also have more energy to go to the gym. Now I'm really excited and interested in Muay Thai and kite surfing and these things where I probably just didn't have the energy before. Like, yes, I have the energy, I can find it, but that is straight from my courage and my fire and passion for life, not necessarily from the amount of energy that my body is able to convert from food, because I was eating one meal a day. And like a smoothie in the morning only. There's a time and there's a place for everything, but that is not necessarily sustainable. The amount of energy that you need to exert for whatever it is you have going on in your life, and then thinking about what you're putting in so then it can be burned and used. This has been so interesting to me to learn about now. So eating more nutritionally balanced meals, actually listening when I am craving for something. There are minerals that I need, that I'm deficient in, and I need at that moment. We lose so many minerals monthly during our cycle. Our menstrual season, as I like to call it, we are losing so many minerals in the blood. And I absolutely know that that is directly related to the difficult menopause experience that a lot of women have later on in life. You have been losing calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, zinc for how many years? Do what you can to replenish. Make sure you're getting them from whole foods, or at least whole food supplements, superfoods as well. Herbs are amazing because of the phytonutrients. I have a confession to make. This is not the same day. I realized that the video will be too long if I keep it in one. So I asked your opinion on Instagram and on the YouTube community tab. And a lot of people said it's okay to keep it in one video. A lot of people said it should be split up into two, especially if it's an educational, informative video. So I followed that advice. So that was part one of what you can do in your 20s and 30s for longevity, and specifically for hormone health and balance. As I've described, your hormone health is the foundation of living a balanced life and all of the functionality in the body. Anything you can think of, you need hormones to be produced, you need hormones to be regulated and detoxed from the body. That is why hormone health is so foundational, and that is why the first video in this series is about hormone balance. Although it is really trendy right now, it is the foundation, especially for us as women. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share this video with anyone else who you think may benefit from it. Let me know, out of these first 5 tips, which one was your favorite, and what is something that you did not know that you have learned from this video. Leave it in the comment section so that everyone else can see. Make sure to download your womb food healing guide or just the plant-based food guides. All of the links are down in the description box. I will see you in part 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, you're doing amazing. Moving in part 2. I'm almost done.